about it. What is Christianity? I defined Christianity on these three basic premises. So there is a God who created everything, the Bible is inspired by God and true, and Jesus of Nazareth is the divine Son of God. Let's find out whether or not we can say that Christianity is evidence-based. Is there evidence for God first? Now, the normal evidence that is given for God is the evidence for design, which comes from in the forms of irreducible complexity of life and the fine-tuning of cosmological constants. Now, the first thing to say about this is that normally what the creationist does is that he says, look, in life there is so much irreducible complexity, look, the universe is so finely tuned, and then he starts asking questions. Where did it all come from? Where did the laws of physics come from? Why is the universe fine-tuned? How did life originate? How is it possible that the life is irreducibly complex? And so on and so on. And this is what he counts as evidence for a God. Now I put it to you that questions is not evidence. Questions is evidence only that we don't know something. And probably we don't know something yet. So, to put God is certainly a possible answer to these questions, but he is posited, he is inserted, he is invoked as an answer without any warrant and evidence. There are alternative explanations to the hypothesis that God created everything. First of all, it is real that science has not got answers to these questions yet. Science is an ongoing process. It continues it continues to search for answers for these questions also. In his public presentation, Science and Christianity, Friends or Foes, Professor Taylor says, science is always changing. There is no certainties in science. The Big Bang Theory is the prevailing paradigm in today's cosmology. Of course, it will change in 50 years from now. So Professor Taylor understands very well that science may one day, in the future, provide answers to these questions. So positing God today is premature, is fallacious. And there are also alternative designers. Of course, there is a long way from saying that something is irreducibly complex to say that the Jehovah of hosts exists and Jesus is his son. There might be alternative designers. Of course, if there is irreducibly complex life and fine-tuned universe, it might have been done by Allah, the God of the Quran. Why not? What evidence do you have that it wasn't? But it gets even more interesting because we have alternative explanations for a design without a personal God. Possibility number one, it may be physical necessity. Complexity, like for example, a mind can be a necessary emergent property of life. There might be a polytheistic solution, gods or demons, intelligent enough to produce life, but not necessarily all-powerful, all-knowing and immortal, nothing that Professor Taylor would call God. Maybe there is a pantheistic God that Spinoza wrote about, who expresses himself in the nature as a physical nature. Maybe there is the impersonal logos that Heraclitus and the Stoics wrote about, the impersonal, pervasive rationality that expresses itself in the rationality of the laws of the cosmos. Maybe there is the Buddhists are right, and there is this all-encompassing impersonal mind, the radiant awareness that expresses itself playfully in the material world, for example, by producing life in all of its complexities. Now, my question to Professor Taylor in its due time would be, design granted, how exactly do you come from design and complexity to particularly the Christian God? What makes you so confident that it's exactly the Christian God that is responsible for all of this? Is there evidence